Hello, I'm Christy with Clients First Business Solutions, and today I will present a simple field service demo that will include creating an appointment from an open service order, looking at a calendar board to see those appointments, and then ending with the mobile app as a technician. So to begin, you can see from my screen here, this is the field services workflow. This will allow you to get a visual of how that workflow works in the system, and you can see here that you have a few ways to start that process in creating appointments. You'll have your customer. You can start with a support case and then create an appointment. This can be used for a one-off appointment, similar to a business of a plumbing company, where I called and I said that I had a water leak and a technician needs to come by. Sales and project quotes, and then to a service order to an appointment, and then service contracts, which you use for routine maintenance if you happen to offer that service. Now with that explanation, I will start with the equipment module. And we're going to look at an equipment that I've already created in the system for you. However, from this screen here, you can just hit the plus button to create a new record. Now the equipment record is used to track items that I may have sold or leased or rented, and I want to offer services to perform maintenance or repairs or even a warranty. So from the screen here you can see that you have your header and then you have your details information. So for this equipment, we have manufactured this equipment and we put it into our stock, and we can sell that inventory outright on a sales order and never touch it again. However, we do offer services to maintain that equipment for as long as you would like. We can make repairs and even offer annual or monthly maintenance. Based on those services that we offer, we did want to maintain our inventory item as an equipment. So as you can see here, we gave it an equipment internal number, we assigned a serial number, and then we gave it a description. And looking at this equipment, you can see that we are the owner, we're the company, but the location of this equipment is at our customer, which indicates that we did sell this or that they have rented or leased it. Now in the details below, under the general information, you do have quite a bit of fields that you can maintain or keep track of what you would like onto this equipment. You can barcode it and give it a specific tag, sales date information, and the purchase tab just allows you to go ahead and set that property type up as you see fit. And for this one, I know that it's rented to others, so I know that this has been rented out and not leased, and that I don't own it at this moment. And here is the purchase date and the purchase amount. Components and warranties. This is where you can maintain those warranties if you would like, or the components that you may have offered to replace on a yearly or monthly basis even. So you have your company warranty and then you have your vendor general warranty. Attributes is a great way of storing specific information. You could have a color on here if you do offer this specific unit in different colors like yellow, green, or red. And you can upload images. From the top here you can see that we do have a target equipment history that you can go to directly from this screen. This will allow you to see those audits, see those appointments or service contracts that you have created or attached to this equipment and serial number. Now focusing on this header information again, since I did put this location is at my customer, and under my purchase information I did see rented to others, which may indicate that I have entered into a service contract that we will go out and maintain this unit for some annual maintenance or even monthly maintenance. So let's go ahead and take a look at equipment and go into service contracts. Now from here you can create a service contract, or perhaps you already created one based on that information that we just saw. So let's take a look at our contract 450, and it is set up for our customer and their location. And you can see that we have it set up as a rental contract and the status is currently active. And you do have your effective dates here. And those are based on the information that you put into your summary. So we started this on the day that we sold it. We put it up that it is renewable, and the duration of this contract is set up for a year. Under schedules, you can preset those schedules on what level of maintenance that you are doing. And for this one, we have the service order type as an MRO. So that means that we are maintaining and repairing this unit as necessary. And you can put in your reoccurrence description if you would like. Services per period. It's a non-stock item. You can see that we have created that target equipment from our equipment record. We've attached it here so that when this service contract comes up for expiration, it's going to go on a dashboard and they can go ahead and call up that customer and say, hey, the equipment that you have rented or leased, your service contract is becoming expired. Would you like to renew that? Because that's the option that we gave them. And even under this contract, you can look at all the billing documents if you've already invoiced previous, and it does keep a history of everything that you've done within this service contract. Now, this was just a quick summary on what a service contract can look like when you create your equipment and you sell it or lease it if you offer those services for an MRO. So at this point, let's get to the heart of the field service demo, and that's going to go into our service orders and appointments. So going to the Field Service Manager dashboard. Now, of course, dashboards are used so you can manage your day-to-day operations. This dashboard is set up for the manager to go ahead and manage what his technician workload is. Looks like I have only one technician working and I need to figure out where my other guys are. So I can even look and see our today's appointments or that I have week appointments set up. It does look like I have service orders that are ready to be scheduled. Now I can do that directly from this screen. I can click into this tile and I can start making those decisions and assigning them to the correct employees or technicians that I would like to have appointments set up against them. However, instead of doing it from our dashboard, which is where the manager would probably do this, I'm going to go ahead and go to the service module so I can give you a good idea of what a calendar board looks like. And this is where you can go ahead and make those assignments to your staff. So from our dashboard, we saw that only one technician had something scheduled on his, which was Maxwell Baker. However, I do have other technicians that don't have anything scheduled onto their calendar at this time. Now you can switch this up and you can look at the week and you can do those parameters about how you would like to see them set up. Now, based on this information, I do have technicians that are open. I have 2 that were scheduled for Maxwell Baker, and you can see I have 12 unassigned appointments. Now, from this screen, I can drag and drop those onto anyone's calendar for them to go ahead and look on their mobile app to see what they have scheduled today for those appointments. But another great feature that Acumatica offers is the optimized appointment scheduling. So if I had more than 12, or maybe I had maybe just 2, and I wanted to run this every day, I certainly could do that. So we're going to go to unassigned appointments, and you can see that I have 2 that are scheduled for today. I can go ahead and say process all. And what this process is going to do, it's going to go ahead and take all those appointments. It's going to automatically place it onto the technician's calendar. And I can also set it up to consider all the skills. So within Acumatica, if your technicians are only certified to work on certain items or equipment, or if they can only go into certain areas within your route map, you can consider those skills and then you can set it up into a schedule. You can add that schedule and have all of the appointments that are created on a day-to-day basis automatically update maybe overnight or every half an hour if you would like. Or if I just hit process all, it's going to go ahead and put it on those calendars. And now the technicians will be able to look on their mobile app to see what their appointments are for the day. But let's just go back and go into service orders. And then we're going to get into some appointments. So if you remember from our dashboard, you can see that I have 101 service orders that are ready to be scheduled. Now I can do that directly from this screen. And it's going to open this up and I can look at all the order numbers, I can look at the promise dates, and I can update those dates so that the work starts today or tomorrow or this week or next week. However, today, instead of creating those appointments directly from my drill down, I will go back over to the services module. We're going to go into service orders and you're going to be able to see all the service orders that are open. And from here you can see that we have different order types. We have MRO and we have installation. We have some created dates. Some look like they're in the past and some are pretty recent. So let's go ahead and look at that service order that we have created for the service contract that we created based on that equipment of that annual maintenance of what we wanted to do. So we have the service order contract From here, you can go ahead and see all of the details on the header. We estimate the duration for the annual maintenance for this to be the 2 hours. We have the first start date will be in April. And here's all your information on the settings. Now in the details tab, this is where you would go ahead and add in items, inventory items, or even our service of what we're going to do underneath this service order. I have right now that it's a scheduled service and it's the annual maintenance. I've added in our target equipment that we set up that service contract for. On appointments, I can preset those appointments on when I wanted to start the annual maintenance for this equipment, and for this one we have started it for April. However, if my customer calls up and said we would like that annual maintenance to go ahead and start in March as of today, we can reschedule this from the start date, or we can go ahead and create a new one by selecting create appointment, and that's going to create a new one that we're going to go ahead and work on. But before I get there, we can assign default staff. So if I know that I only have one technician that can work on this unit, I can preset him on here. So every time that I create an appointment, it's going to automatically go to his calendar board. But let's go back to appointments, and I'm going to go ahead and say create appointment, which I can do directly from the screen, or from the service module you can create appointments. And you can see how fast and easy it was to just go from one click from one screen that I can create this appointment on. Your service order type, this is a maintenance, repair, and operation, so we're going to go ahead and leave it as an MRO as my default. We have our scheduled start and our actual start dates. Since it's tied to this service order, it automatically populates all the important information, including the addresses and when I actually want to start this and when I can end it. On the details, I can go ahead and add those items as we saw before. Give it a line type of the service. We're going to give that ID, that annual maintenance line. We do have all the information already tied to the inventory ID. And now for the staff, I'm going to go ahead and add my staff. So I can do it from here. I can add staff, and then I can go ahead and say, well, my skill set, when I select just the driver, it's going to limit my options because of their skill set. Or you can limit the options based on their license type. However, I can just click my employee on this side as well and select the OK button. And now I've added him in as my default staff for this appointment. I'm going to select save. Now once I hit save, this will go to the technician's mobile app so they know what they need to do for the day. And we're going to end this demonstration with the technician's mobile app. And here on the screen you can see that we have the mobile app, and this is what your technicians will see. So as a technician, I have my services. I'm going to go into my appointment list. And from my list, I'm just going to click on an appointment. And once I'm in the appointment and clicking on that details tab, you can see I do have the details of what is needed to be performed at my job. I have the option to add in some attachments, so I can take a picture of the unit that I'm actually working on. I can use my camera, or if I took a picture previously, I could use that gallery. I can exit the details. If I needed to add in inventory from my vehicle, I certainly can do that at this stage if that repair required it. I can go ahead and I can search for what I think is needed by description or by part number. And if I did have inventory on my truck and it needed to be replaced, I could simply select this one, and it's going to go ahead and add that line onto the details underneath the maintenance. And then I can simply preview the report so that my client can see everything that has been done. Then I can just show my client, I can't really increase this, but as you can see, when the client does review the report, they can say that it was the annual maintenance. This is the quantity and what they're being charged. Now when I exit this, I can also have them sign that report. Hit OK. And now from the little indicator on the top here, you can see that I do now have an attachment. Bring our screen back over. I'm going to refresh. And then under files, You can see this is the signature attachment that my client did sign for when my work was complete. So now that I have my signature, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say complete. And then once I hit complete, I can go about my day and go to the next appointment. And as you can see, the process here is complete. And then process, after I refresh, it goes immediately into Acumatica at our home base, and you can see that the status is now complete. So a simple and easy way to show how to use the mobile app that your technicians will use. It is quick and simple. They can log their time, they can log expenses, they can add inventory from their vehicle if needed, and they can also have your client sign those reports when their job is completed. This will conclude our field services demo. I do hope that being able to see how to create equipment in the system, you can create service orders to maintain that equipment once you sell it or lease it or rent it out if you offer those services, and create the service contracts to create a service order that can be the umbrella of what you are doing on that maintenance or whatever repair scope that you've created under your service contract. Thank you, and as always, please contact Clients First Business Solutions with any questions that you may have or just to learn more.